Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift, and this episode is brought to you by RX Bar. That's right. For 25% off your first order of the best seller variety pack, visit rxbar.com/Wadcast. Enter promo code Wadcast at checkout. That's valid in the United States only and for a limited time. I am here in Australia and I'm scratching what I hope is a mosquito bite and not a spider bite, because if it's a spider bite, I'll be dead by the end of the episode. Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff here that kills you. Spiders, sharks, snakes, murderers. Watch the movie Snowtown. You'll learn about their serial killers. Snowtown Murders. It's on Netflix. It's terrifying. What else is going on? Speaking of murder, 13.3 was not easy. Not easy. I have not done it. I've done 13.1, 13.2, and I will let you know, I'm not doing it in the 60 plus women's scaled division. I'm doing it 60 plus women's RX'd. That's right. And I want to let you know that these women are smashing me. There are some freakishly in shape 60-year-old women out there. I think in the first workout for a while, I was sitting at 20th. And then the second one, I was at 4th for a little bit. And then I just got crushed. This is hard. I don't know who these freaks are. You know, granted, I only do CrossFit a couple days a week. But who are you freaks? Who are you? 13.3. I hope you guys all still have your spinal column. I'm very against handstand push-ups. I mean, I guess everyone can do them. I just don't want to take the risk myself. I don't like them. I probably won't do the workout. Maybe I will, but I doubt it. What else is going on? If you guys love our show, you want to help out our show, you know the best way. Go to Patreon, give some money. Give like $5, you get yourself into the situation where you might end up, where we just look into our list every week and award you with a gift from us. We'll give you a leopard claw and a myopux. The leopard claw is the soft tissue multi-tool designed for versatile self-mobilization. It increases blood flow while breaking up restrictions in the tissues and ultimately helps you move better. After you've done that to yourself, you want to attach yourself to the myopux. It's a portable and affordable electronic muscle stimulation and TENS device. The myopux increases blood flow, but most importantly, it removes the waste to help you recover more efficiently. So if you create some of that waste with the leopard claw, this is the best way to flush it out. Myopux will also help decrease pain associated from overuse. And when you use both together, like I said, it's a game changer. So if you want to buy one, go buy one. Another way to try to get one is by just giving us $5 on Patreon. And the next thing you know, you might be like Paul Shin. Paul Shin, thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for listening. And you will be receiving yourself a myopux and a leopard claw. And all you other people that support the show, thanks for all the amazing comments that I get in emails to wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com and on the Facebook page, Wadcast Podcast, on the Instagram page. It's a Wadcast Podcast on Instagram. I appreciate all the really, really nice comments. It helps me keep going because, as you know, I'm very into self-loathing and low self-esteem, and this kind of stuff keeps me in the game. When you guys give me your affirmations, or well, not your affirmations, your not criticisms, your confirmations. When you tell me you like the show, the accolades you give me, it makes me feel better about what I'm doing and why I do this. So I appreciate every single one of them. Go on iTunes, rate, review, comment. That's the best place to do it. If you want to tell me on there, because then other people read it and more people want to listen to the show. And also, people will, it helps us in the ratings. If you want to help the show in other ways, you don't want to spend money, help yourself. Go to Thrive Market. Sign up for Thrive. I believe it's $60 for a year, and you'll save that probably on your first order. And Thrive Market is basically a healthy place to shop. Get yourself some healthy food and healthy products, all kinds of great stuff. They've got organic brands, non-GMO. They deliver it straight to your door, and you will save a shitload of money. A shitload. That's right. You'll be like, oh my God, you'll just be eating. You'll be like, thank you, Eddie, as you eat. US Wellness Meats, you can do the same thing on our site. Use the click-through, US Wellness Meats, and you're going to get the best meat in the world. And I swear by this meat. It is incredible. It's just the healthiest beef out there, and it tastes incredible. They've got beef, they've got pork, they've got chicken, they've got fish, they've got pemmican, they've got bars, they've got jerky, they've got snacks, you name it. Did I mention they have lamb? Did I mention they have bison? Did I mention they just got everything? So, it's so good. Go on there. They've got bone broth. They've got gelatins. They've got grass-fed butter. They've got, sauces. They've got, go on there and they'll deliver it to your door, and, your family's going to be eating healthy and cheaper than you will if you go to the grocery store. I think they have free shipping on all orders. How about that? So check them out. Use the click through US Wellness Meats on our website. I swear by it. And if you want to see me live, I am, let's see where I'm going to be. I'm still in Australia right now as we speak. I've got my last few nights at the Adelaide Fringe Festival. It's been going great, selling out lots of shows, working out at Mode CrossFit, Mode Fitness, which is a beautiful gym. James Newberry doing well at the CrossFit Games. He's going to be in them. He already qualified. How about that? And Hunter has not. Don't know how he's doing in the open. Haven't heard from him in a while. I think he's maybe hiding. I'm going to be in Launceston, which is on Tasmania, the island of Tasmania. Wonder if you got a CrossFit down there. I'm sure you do. There's CrossFits everywhere. I'm going to be in Launceston, I believe the 21st, at Laughs on Lonnie. It's a comedy festival, so come see me there. And then I'll be at the Sydney Comedy Store, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. That's in Sydney, Australia. 28th, 29th, 30th. I will be there, okay, of March. Then I will be in Edmonton at the Comic Strip. That is April 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. April 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then doing a show with the help of CrossFit up in Bozeman, Montana. I will be at the Rialto Theater on April 12th. Come see me at the Bozeman Rialto Theater, Bozeman, Montana. How cool is that? I just canceled Naples for Easter. I'm not going to be in Naples. If you thought I was going to be at Off the Hook in Naples, Florida, I'm not. But I am going to Las Vegas. I'm going to be at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club the 22nd through the 28th of April, except for the 26th. Friday night, I will be back in LA. I've got to fly back to LA to do a charity show for Cedar Sinai in front of 10,000 people, which is going to be awesome, for Kevin and Bean. That'll be pretty cool. I like that show. I think there's some pretty, Ray Romano's on the show. I'm on the show. Paul Scheer's on the show. Who else did I hear? Not Patton Oswalt. Is it Patton? I don't know. I don't want to say people that are on it that aren't, but those are tough tickets to get. It's usually sold out. Try to get those. I believe it's at the Forum. May 2nd through 5th, I'll be at the St. Louis Funny Bone. Okay, come out and see me there. And then I go to Las Vegas again to play the Comedy Cellar. That's the 6th through the 12th. Big show. May 19th, Comedy Store in Hollywood. Get your tickets. This will sell out. It's one show, Sunday night, Comedy Store Hollywood. Big show. So get your tickets for that. All kinds of other stuff coming up in June. I just canceled Calgary because I'm in Las Vegas. Again, a lot of Las Vegas. Atlanta, the Punchline, going back to New York to do a comedy festival. So check out all my dates at eddief.com. July, I'll be in Dallas, Chicago, all kinds of crazy stuff. Get your tickets. Yeah, it's going to be a little crazy because guess who's having a boy? That's right, having a little boy. My wife is pregnant. We're having a boy in July. So, yeah, pretty crazy. This episode, I'm in Australia right now. However, I recorded this episode in Boston a while back. I recorded this with Dr. Sean Rockett. Some of you might know the doc because he's been on many podcasts. Between you and me, he told me he liked mine the best. But Dr. Sean Rockett is a CrossFitter. He's also a doctor, like I said, orthopedic surgeon. I asked him a million questions about all my injuries and about all your possible injuries being CrossFitters. He's a CrossFit Open competitor. He's a triathlete. He's level 1 certified. He's involved with CrossFit Health. And he shares a lot of his knowledge on 321gomd.com. So if you want to check that out, I really enjoyed talking to him. It was an eye-opener on many extremes, but just at the end of the day, what an awesome dude. What an incredible dude to just talk to, have fun with. I could have talked to him for 12 hours, but it was on a school night, and I just felt like I was torturing the guy. And he's so nice to dedicate his time to helping you guys out there and trying to make the community better. Did I just say community? Somebody smack me. All right. I don't want to say any more. I just want you to enjoy this episode. Thanks for supporting the Wadcast, and hopefully I'll meet you or see you soon or hear from you somewhere over the internet. Now enjoy Dr. Sean Rockett. Welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am Eddie Ift. This is the start of a very strange episode. I've picked up a man after my show, and I'm in Boston doing shows at Laugh Boston here in, I guess, the waterfront? Seaport. And, there was this hot dude in the crowd, and I was like, hey, you want to go up to my room? And here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not exactly what happened, but it's sort of what happened.
It's true.
No, we've had this episode in the making for a while. If you follow CrossFit at all, if you're one of those CrossFit junkies that loves listening to like the HQ videos, and there's a man who is more qualified than any of us. And he's actually has a name. He's got a title. He's a doctor. It's Dr. Sean Rockett, everyone. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Not only did
happy to be here,
come to my show, brought your friends to my show, laughed at my dumb shit.
Bought your discs.
Yeah, but your buddies bought my CDs and DVDs, and then you laughed at my dumb shit. I was watching you. I pulled you into the show a couple times. Yes, you got a good laugh.
I did.
You did
good. Anybody out there, go see him.
You got a very good laugh.
It was really good.
But he made a crack during my show that was very, very funny. We were talking about Gainswave, who might be a sponsor of this show, so we won't get into it. But Dr. Sean Rockett, everybody, who's an orthopedic surgeon. I've talked about orthopedic surgeons quite a bit on the show because I have some friends that are them, and I bug the shit out of them.
Cool.
That's
what we do. That's what we do.
Keep it real close. I bug the shit out of them, and they're all the thing about most orthopedic surgeons, and from what I've heard, even Dr. Drew was telling us, we had him on a few weeks ago, because he was headed down that road, but he didn't like surgery. Mm-hmm. You guys are the athletes of the doctor world.
They say jocks invalids or carpenters. So the jocks because they got hurt. The invalids, and I'm sorry, jocks because they played sports, invalids because they got hurt, or carpenters because they like to do, put stuff back together, screws and bolts and nails and stuff like that.
Which one were you?
I would say I played sports. That was my identification. I sports medicine I enjoyed. I had a great family friend who was a sports medicine doc, and I was always talking to him, and he was putting me back together. And
what was your sport?
I played football, basketball, and baseball.
Oh, that's like the make dad happy sports. those are the ones that you're not throwing a curveball at all. Like you're like, yeah, Dad, I'll play football, basketball. My dad tried to make me do those three, and then somehow it deviated into skiing, surfing. I ran track, but I feel like those sports are the ones that the real athletes play.
Yeah, I don't know.
The rest of us,
it was fun.
Get
I
knocked down.
I enjoyed it.
Were you any good?
Yeah, I was all right. I played in college, and
just all right.
Yeah,
Where did you go to college?
I went to Harvard.
Oh, and, just Harvard. I knew you went to Harvard. Why did I ask that?
Savan was bugging me about that. And then my shoulder popped out the back freshman year playing football, and then I played baseball after that.
What was your position?
Came in at quarterback. They brought in 10 quarterbacks.
10?
10. And I saw some of the arms on these guys that were 10 times better than my arm, and so I switched to wide receiver.
Yeah, but had they taken calculus too?
Organic.
Yeah. You're way past calculus.
Yeah.
You're like, I took that my freshman year of high school.
Yeah. And then had surgery on my shoulder, and then and that was part of the orthopedic identification. Seeing orthopedics up front and seeing getting athletes back, and then I played baseball after that.
So then, what'd you major in? Biology?
I majored in biology.
Yeah. And then did you decide? Did you know going to college that you were going to be a doctor?
No. Both my parents are doctors, and
that
so
helps.
that was out there. And I think it's tough because it's not tough, but you see that it's doable. Like I think people who think, oh, doctor's this unattainable thing, but you see like, oh, my parents can do it. It's doable, and so that made it an option, and I always kept it out in the open, and then I love biology. I loved anatomy. I love seeing how things work, in the human body and the physiology of it and dissection.
I think it's amazing too, but I'm just not really smart. So there was no.
That's the other part.
I'm like a guy at a bus stop. You might ask for medical advice, but not like I don't know.
You're talking about on the plane, on the plane ride.
Yeah.
You were talking about in your thing, like, is there a doctor on board?
Yeah.
I've had that.
Have you really?
Had that.
You've been on the plane?
I did the plane. My wife had my 2 kids in her lap, and she's a doctor too.
Yeah.
And we're on this plane, and they came over, like, is there a doctor on board? And I look at her, and she's got my 2 kids sleeping in her lap. And she's an internal medicine or family medicine doc. And I go, I'll go. I go, you stay there. Like, these kids are not waking up. And I went to see, and it was a guy that kind of had passed out from just too much alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was on the ground.
That's been me. I've done that one.
He's on the ground, and we're on Air Jamaica, and I look, there's a guy kneeling at his head, and I, wishful thinking, hoping that this is some kind of cardiologist or some kind of internal medicine doctor. I look, I go, are you a doctor? And he goes, yes. And he looks at me, and he goes, what are you? I go, orthopedic surgery. And I go, you? He goes, urology. So we both had this knowing glance and this knowing, everybody else around us was like, oh good, we got 2 doctors, but the 2 of us know, like, his meniscus may be torn and I can help with that, and this guy might do a rectal exam on the plane. But he woke up. The guy was fine had some, gave him some orange juice and some cookies, and he was fine.
Did the other guy massage his prostate?
I said, I know he did not tear his meniscus. I know that. But there is a good story.
So, like, all the stuff that you've learned, is it gone? Like the stuff you had early on?
There's a lot that's gone.
I would figure. That's what I think sometimes about doctors. It's like all that memorization that you had to do. Because isn't it tons of memorization?
There's a lot of memorization. I went through med school with mnemonics, and I can, list different things based on mnemonics that I made. And,
Right.
And yes, a lot of that is, it's a lot of it is overdone, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the way they do it.
You said there was another funny story when I interrupted.
So we gave him the cookie and we gave him orange juice just
Right.
to see if he was diabetic.
Right.
You know, he wasn't talking well to us,
Right.
and they said, we want to make an emergency landing.
Wow. And you
In
were like,
Cuba.
And you were like, I got to get
And
to
we're
Jamaica.
like, we got to get home. I got
Oh,
to
you're
work
home.
now. So I'm like, we think he's fine. We could smell alcohol. He was waking up. He was feeling better. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, did we miss something? Is there anything that we missed? He's a young guy, probably not a heart attack. And I went, maybe he had a stroke. And I was thinking about it with your Bell's palsy joke. And I go, stick out your tongue. And it goes off to the right. And so if you stick out your tongue straight, that's normal. But if you stick out your tongue to the right, that's a sign of a stroke.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, the guy's having a stroke. And we just, missed the emergency landing. And the urologist goes, wait a minute, finish eating your cookie. And the guy finished eating his cookie and then he stuck his tongue out straight. And so he wasn't having a stroke.
So he was just having trouble getting
he was just getting he was having his cookie in his cheek.
So in that situation, I have no medical background other than I took, it was called winter emergency care when I was a ski patrol, which was like, it was like almost like not even paramedic level, like I'm not even,
Right.
I forget what's lower, EMT or paramedic. I'm lower than the lower one.
Right.
But so I have a basic knowledge of
Sure.
like, if somebody's bleeding,
Yeah.
put pressure on it.
Tourniquet pressure, yeah.
If somebody looks like they've had an injury, don't move their head or their body. Keep
Yeah.
them still.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know CPR. I used to know CPR. I don't even know
right.
if I know it now. So
Just compress.
yeah. So
compress.
but there were so many situations where it's like I come upon an accident and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to get involved in this, because when I was a lifeguard, a couple guys got sued.
They got sued for being a lifeguard.
A guy had a heart attack on the beach.
Wow.
And they had not had their CPR training yet. Like they were in line to have it done.
Yeah.
They had just new hires and so
The ambulance came.
yeah, the ambulance came, but they still were named in the lawsuit. So all I've ever heard is that, and I would like, when you're in that situation where isn't there some kind of protection? Like
There's a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Anybody that helps, there's a good Samaritan law, and I think you get held to the standard of a good Samaritan as opposed to the standard.
But what about you as a doctor?
I think it's still anybody that's helping is
Okay.
helping as a good Samaritan, providing any care. Again, I don't know the exact details.
So I'm
but-
saying, like, say you didn't make that emergency landing, he was having a stroke. Could that be considered a malpractice? I mean, or is that like it's out of your realm?
I've talked to other doctors. They're like, yeah, I don't go up anymore.
What do you mean?
When they make the call, some other doctors have said, yeah, I just don't do it.
Oh my God!
I'm like, well, how are we going
to save these lives?
What are you doing? So I came back to my seat. My kids are still asleep. My wife's there, and the guy was fine. The guy woke up. He was fine.
Right.
Stopped drinking, and he was fine. And I sit down next, and the lady next to me, she goes, what happened? I told her about the tongue and the orange juice and the cookies. She goes, yeah, I'm an endocrinologist. I never go up. I'm like, you're an internal medicine guy. That's what we needed. We gave him orange juice. We needed you. What the hell? And she goes, yeah, I just don't do it. I was like, well, thanks. That's great.
One time I was outside the Comedy Cellar in New York City, and the snow had made the awning collapse.
Ooh.
And it fell on a person.
Wow.
And they were laying on the ground, my mom would kill me if I said laying. Lying on the ground. And I was a little worried that, they maybe had done something there, hit them in the head, knocked their neck. So I go into my little bit of knowledge and I'm like, hey, you just want to lie down here and don't move. They've got an ambulance coming. Yeah. Just stay with me. And I'm just trying to keep their head straight. And so it's not keeping it secure. All the other comedians come out and see me doing this. And the roast began. It was because the Comedy Cellar is where we all hang out. So there's 20 comedians from Patrice O'Neill to Greg Giraldo, all just going, oh, look at Eddie Ift. He thinks he's a doctor. And and I'm holding this guy and I'm trying not to laugh.
God.
And they're pointing at me and giggle. And comedians are the cruelest people in the world. And they're just like, that dumb idiot walking out.
Break out your Fisher-Price stethoscope and put it on.
And I was like, what have I done? Why did I not just walk past?
You're doing the right thing. Doing the right thing.
I have this weird thing when I see it. I go to my wife says that about me. She's like, you're completely helpless and not. She said, except when there's like high pressure situation, and she's like, all of a sudden you
go
rise
run.
to the challenge.
You run to the thing.
She goes, I don't know what it is about you. She goes, all the other time you suck, and all of a sudden,
when the chips are down, you're going in.
I'm like, dun dun dun.
Are there cameras? Where's the camera?
So
I did do it again on JetBlue, and JetBlue, I will say, reimbursed, gave me a gift certificate. It was another guy who went into AFib. His pulse changed. He was having shortness of breath. And I had another friend who was a doctor on the plane, and she came back, and we helped the guy, and they gave us a gift certificate. So shout out to JetBlue.
Would they give you like a free drink or
$100?
That was very nice.
So any docs out there?
I'm just going to follow. And they're like, is there a doctor? Yes, I'm Dr. Ift.
I said that. I'm going to walk onto the plane. Anybody got shoulder problems? It's $100. $100 for this shoulder issue. 5 years of shoulder pain. I'll be right there.
I take cash. I take, wait, so your shoulder that came out the back again, what, just a total dislocation?
Yeah, it popped out the back. Usually shoulders pop out the front, but this was football and I took a hit from the front and it went out the back.
What's your throwing arm?
My right.
Okay.
So it was my left.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then I had clicking and I had pain and I couldn't. And actually, this is the reason I do chin-ups instead of pull-ups.
Interesting.
Because the surgery at the time, I had a labrum flipping around. They just took it out.
You have no labrum.
I have no labrum in my back of my shoulder. They took it out.
Now the labrums are like that little thing that like the thing between the labrum, the glenelg, is that what it's called? Glenoid. And the humerus.
Correct.
And then
that's what attaches the ligaments from the humerus, the ball, to the socket, the glenoid. And if you don't have the labrum, your shoulder's loose.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So whenever I did pull-ups, my shoulder would sort of feel like it was moving or shifting. So now I do chin-ups.
So knowing what you know now
Yes.
as a doctor,
Yes.
do you look at that surgery that doctor did on you and you were like, this guy was a hack?
Well, no, they didn't know.
Okay, but so if...
It wasn't the right surgery to do.
But today they would do a much different...
They would do a labral repair. They would reattach it. I would. That's what I would do. That's what, yeah. So
I've heard this, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, that most baseball and baseball players have torn labrums.
Lots and lots. Yeah.
What about CrossFitters?
I see that a lot, and I think it can come traumatically from a snatch gone bad.
Right.
Snatch gone bad. Had a friend dislocate with a snatch and, just had too much weight over his head.
Right.
And went backwards.
Yeah.
And so that can happen. And that's probably one of the more common things that I see.
That is the one lift that I just went.
It's the most dangerous.
Yeah,
lift.
I'm not doing it anymore.
Whenever I see it come up.
Sots press is pretty bad too. The one where you're...
the snatch balance?
Yeah, well, snatch balance and then... Sots press is when you're down below and you're pressing it up from a squat. And then you're pressing it up off your neck. I feel like that one's really hard. Yeah. And then the snatch balance is terrifying. That one's terrifying. I feel like... I did that one time. I was in Melbourne, Australia, and I was doing CrossFit off the website before I'd even gone to a gym.
Okay.
Didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just read, hey, this is what the workout is today. And it involved a snatch balance. And
200 pounds.
I put 185 pounds on it. How I don't even know
Ladies
to
and
this
gentlemen,
day.
if you've never seen Eddie Ift, his physique
I don't even know how
he might weigh 185 pounds.
I think I picked it up in the overhead position, because to this day I'm like, I don't know how I pressed that out.
Wow.
So I'm in like a Globo gym. I had it pressed out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, wait. No. I had it on my neck. That's it. I had it on my neck.
Yeah.
And then I went to press it out
Yeah.
and drop below it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like couldn't get it the whole way up. And I dropped it back down on my neck.
Sure. I've seen that.
So like below,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
cervical.
Yeah, cervical somewhere.
Cervical vertebrae. Yeah.
And I was working out. This girl was with me that I was dating. I look at her and I go, I think I should go home. And we were like in the middle of our workout. I was like, let's go home.
Or drop your weight.
So we started jogging home, and I was like, went from jogging to walking, and then I went to my show that night, and
tingling in my fingers.
I'm on stage, and I usually used to have at least a drink before stage, but I don't think I even had a drink that night, or maybe had one. And my promoter comes up to me after the show, and I was like drunk on stage, and she said, "How much have you had to drink?" And I said, "Why?" She goes, "How much have you had to drink tonight?" And she doesn't care. She's not judgmental. I said, I didn't have any, or I had one. She goes, "Okay." And I was in the middle of like a meet and greet with all the, and I said, she goes, "Get your coat. We're going to go somewhere." Wow. And she got me in the car and she drove me right to the hospital.
Wow.
Because she had heard from the girl what had happened.
Uh-huh.
So I went in, and they right away put the collar on me.
Wow.
And they made me lie down, and they were like, "We're going to give you a CT scan and an X-ray." And then all their power had gone down. And so they said, "You're going to have to stay the night. When we can start it back up tomorrow, you do it tomorrow morning." Right. And I just started freaking out, like I'm claustrophobic. And
Right.
So I ripped the fucking neck brace off and ran out of the, and they chased me down. They're like, "Listen, you could be paralyzed." And I'm like, "I'm not going to be paralyzed." And they're like, so I think what happened was they sent me home with the collar on. They said, "Keep this on all night and come back tomorrow." Because I did an X-ray, I was fine.
Yep.
But I'm making this story too long. Yeah. I think I was concussed.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I think I got a concussion.
And you were loopy from that.
Yeah. And
no numbnembness in the...
No.
Yeah.
Great show,
probably,
though.
Yeah, it was
great show.
Disinhibited, like...
Yeah, that's what happened. And I was like, I got to do this before all my shows.
Good. How much weight was that? 185 on the back of the head? Sure.
But the shoulder thing, I think, is kipping. You think the kipping can do it?
Kipping, if done incorrectly, can lead to stress on the labrum and the ligaments. Yeah, definitely. So that's why, and I think it's been out there so much, but I think a tight kip is important,
right?
And not the hyperextended kip, but a tight kip is fine.
But I think, what if you have the hyperextended? Like I couldn't have that.
So there are different body types,
right?
20 to 40-year-old females who can dislocate their thumbs and hyperextend their elbows get away with it.
Right.
20 to 50-year-old guys who can't get their arms up over their head in a straight line don't get away with it.
Yeah.
Because they're so tight, but they put so much momentum into the kip that their arm is hyperextended behind their back.
Yeah, I've stopped them myself, but I just went to a yoga event that my wife put on.
Okay.
And it was a promotion for something, and we were all doing yoga, and my buddy Hunter and I, Hunter McIntyre, who's the obstacle course racer, they took a lot of photos, and my wife was showing me the photos, and you can see the two of us standing out amongst all these women and all these like yoga guys, because all of them have such good shoulder position in downward dog.
Yep.
They're all just their arms.
They're way up.
And Hunter and I are like,
you're on all fours instead of on downward dog. You're on all fours.
Yeah. And it was one of those. I mean, I'm trying to do more yoga now because I'm like, I have to get to this. I don't want to be that old guy that can't get up the stairs.
Try the chin up.
Switch to chin ups.
I can kip chin-ups.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I can too. I just haven't done them. I used to be really good at pull-ups, and I'm like, nope, they're done. I'll do strict, and I do a lot of strict ones, but no more kips, no more muscle ups. I think I've seen the end of those.
I've never been able to do a ring muscle up.
Really?
I've done bar. I've never done a ring. Just because one time early on when I was, obviously everybody tries it before they should.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like it's the
it's
holy
the party,
grail.
It's
right?
the party trick you want.
Right. And my elbow went way out, and I just felt my shoulder do something that I just didn't want it to do.
When I see that happen, I think they call that the chicken wing.
The chicken wing.
When I see that happen.
But it was sudden. It wasn't like, it was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
I've had it happen. I get sick to my stomach when I see it happen.
It's like when I watch my kid wrestle. I'm like,
I just wrote to a woman the other day who does a gymnastics seminar out of Vancouver.
Uh-huh.
And I go to Vancouver every once in a while. I want to do her seminar because I've watched her gymnastics training, and it just looks like everything she does is right, and that you won't get hurt at all. Like if you follow her coaching, you're going to learn how to do all these things with really, really good. It's a
money back guarantee.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's her name, Louise Eberts Gymnastics.
All right.
And when I go to Vancouver, I never take classes or seminars.
You'll go find her.
I already wrote to her. I'm like,
knocking on her door.
I watched. If you go to her Instagram, it just looks like she does such good work.
Oh, cool.
With and I think it's something I'm missing that a lot of CrossFitters. When did you start CrossFitting though?
CrossFitting was 2007 with Ben Bergeron.
Geez, you've been around forever.
Heather Bergeron.
You're from the beginning.
Well, beginning on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Not the West.
Yeah,
West
that's
Coast
true.
but beginning on the East Coast, there were 3 affiliates in Massachusetts. I took a class. This was before I took a class with Ben or with Heather. And Ben started doing his own thing. This was before he was an affiliate. And I was like, there's no way this thing can fail. This thing is going to take off.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't know about it in Boston or Massachusetts. And I was like, I said to Ben, I want to go in on this with you. And he's like, I just want to do my own gym. And that became CrossFit New England. And he, sent a bunch of teams to the games and they won. And
so he was CrossFit New England. What gym were you guys working out in?
In his gym. Yeah, we are a lifetime member at CrossFit New England.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because his business plan, which was a great plan, was he had a bunch of people coming in. He said, "Give me some money, and you can be a lifetime member if it works." And I was like, "There's no way this is not."
And I've seen photos. We talked to him because I was going to try to get him on the show this week, but I think he was between Cape Town.
He went to Cape. Yeah, he was in Cape Town,
and now he's somewhere else or something.
Just got back.
But he has a beautiful. Didn't he build a whole new gym and everything?
Well, it's funny. He started he's in the same spot, but he's blown walls down and opened up things, and he's expanded in the space that he's always been in.
Now, your wife owns a gym, though, in your garage.
Garage, yes. 5:30 a.m. Boom, boom. CrossFit Launchpad. And, yeah.
So do you work out there or do you go to CrossFit New England?
I do both. I love CrossFit New England and the community and Ben, but sometimes I'm too tired to drive.
That's kind of the way I am. I've got a gym in my garage, not to the extent of yours. I was watching videos of your gym. Yeah. And that's just got to be so strange to run a gym out of your house.
She loves it. She loves it.
Your wife, who is a doctor, also.
She's a doctor.
Gave up being a doctor
to be a CrossFit coach because she was so sick of the 15 minutes or the 10 minutes and had to keep moving and really wanted to spend time with all these people. And now she can spend as much time as they want. To come to her and see her.
So does she feel like, she must feel like there's a difference between fixing and trying to prevent?
Yeah, she felt like she was beating herself over the head, saying the same thing, watching the same results with the same people coming back and just not doing anything. Like they were swimming in a whirlpool, just circular, in a circular whirlpool. She just had a nutrition challenge at CrossFit Launchpad. She started a month ago with some people, got their Fran times at whatever they're doing, using a band, using, 35 pounds, 25 pounds. Some people got 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Everybody in her 1 month nutrition challenge and working out, everybody improved their Fran time to at least 2 minutes improved.
With nutrition.
she's pounding them on nutrition and working out.
Yeah, I think nutrition is going to make a big difference because of one thing is the weight loss difference. I mean,
the weight loss.
You lose weight, you're going to be able to do well,
move your body and feel better. And
so how many people will work out in your garage at your house?
I think she has probably like 6 to 7 classes per day.
Oh my God.
And she'll have like 4 or 5 at each class.
How do the neighbors feel about this?
We've got good neighbors. We've got a neighbor next door who's hard of hearing, which is good.
Wasn't before you started the gym.
Yeah. And a bunch of the neighbors are in the gym. And so it's so far so good. It's been good.
That's amazing.
It's been fun. Yeah, it's been cool. We just the winter weather is tough because it's in the garage. We have a hoop court in the back, and so in the spring she gets to put everybody outside.
And you do the runs down the street in front of all the neighbors and
wall balls in the garage.
Are a lot of the neighbors? How many neighbors are involved?
Within our within a 3-block area, we probably have 15 that come in.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And what about kids? Any like?
Yeah, she's got 5th graders, 4th graders. She has a kid who was like 220, who was eating terribly. Yeah, and she's like, she kept in. He comes in at 5:30 a.m. and he wasn't changing. And she's like, this is weird. It's like because she always sees people change, and she's like, she said to him like, what's going on? He admitted he's like, I eat a lot of chicken fingers and French fries at school. Yeah. And she changed that, and he's lost 30 pounds.
So funny, you see that, because I feel like that kid you're talking about is Machete, my sound guy. You're listening to this right now. He's listening as he edits this for me. He's always like, he'd do CrossFit for a long time, and he listens to the show because he's on it every day, and he weighs. I don't know what he weighs at this point, but it always boils down to.
Is something else.
Something's going on late at night where he's eating something he shouldn't be eating. David Paradiso, who owns Paradiso in Venice, always told me when he has clients like that, they go, I don't know why. He always goes, okay, I want you to text me a picture of everything you eat.
Yeah, Rhonda would do that.
And then
she would do that when she was a doctor. She was doing that. She was getting texts of like meals.
And then he's like, I got you. Like you can't have a Coke and Cheetos. It's not. That's not. And you can't be like 80%.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
I chose my pediatrician for my daughter by. My wife said, "Hey, when you get a pediatrician, you're supposed to interview them." I go, "What the fuck? What do you mean?" She's like, "I don't know. We go ask questions." I'm like, "She's like vaccination schedule and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "What are the right questions?" So my wife would ask all these questions that she read about or whatever, and at the end, I would always go, "What do you feel about diet?" And so many doctors said, "Just keep them eating. Just whatever you can get in them, whatever they need calories. They're kids; they got to grow." Yeah. And I was like, "So I can just give them like sugar, just like cookies?" And they're like, "Look, sometimes kids don't like food, and you just got to get any food into them." Yeah, and I would walk out, and I'm like, "No fucking how does that person?" And we finally went to a doctor in LA who said, "I no CrossFit background whatsoever," but she said, "I don't want your child." She's like, "I'm not going to tell you how to feed your kid, but I don't like them to eat any processed food. Stay away." She's like, a little bit of fruit, try to stick more to vegetables. That was the one thing. She was like, if they're having trouble, then fruit's better than no food. Right. But she said, no processed food at all, and blah, 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 blah. And I walked out of there. I'm like, we're going there. And my wife goes, she doesn't take insurance. I was like, oh, fuck. So that's our doctor.
You gotta keep looking.
And we were talking about the dog earlier about making him wait.
Yeah.
No, I do that with my daughter.
Exactly.
We were talking about earlier. I don't know how we got into it, but you do a lot of knees, right?
Yeah, knees, shoulders.
What would you say you're best at?
I like shoulders. Shoulders are good. Knees are sort of very straightforward, basic. It goes in one direction, Shoulders are, there's a lot of,
I feel like shoulders are way more complicated.
yeah, there's a lot more stuff going on. The MRI is not the answer. Like an MRI can be normal and there's still something going on. And so you have to examine the exam.
Does an MRI just show inflammation? Does it show a tear?
It can show tears. Sometimes you have to add a contrast to the shoulder to have it show a tear. Sometimes an MRI without a contrast doesn't show a tear.
When you add a contrast, is that the thing you...
So it's fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
and
put
is that
fluid
the thing
in.
that like burns when it goes through?
Well, if it goes into the shoulder, the needle might hurt a little bit. But, imagine like if you had like a, water and you have a little divot.
Yeah.
And, the water would fill in the divot and you see the divot on the MRI.
So that shows you the tear.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a question I've always wanted to ask an orthopedic surgeon, and I want you to be completely honest.
Completely honest.
Completely honest, because I think, there is this thing where people always say, oh, doctors, they love to operate. They love to operate. They love to do surgery. But I think for the most part, it's like any business. There's good guys, there's bad guys. Most doctors are not going to operate if they don't need to operate.
Yeah, because put it this way, if I'm operating on something that I don't think needs an operation, that person's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And they're going to come back to me and
say, you fucked up my shoulder.
Yeah. And like, do you think I enjoyed seeing that? And like dealing with somebody who's like, why did you do that to my shoulder? Yeah, no, so you got to know. I always tell, residents, medical students, when I teach them, you got to know when to pull the trigger. And a lot of times you shouldn't pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. And there are times when, somebody's coming to you, they've seen other docs, and you find something or you see something that needs it. You do it.
But a bone breaks, it goes back to back together, it recalcifies, right? Or whatever it does. It
regrows back.
And it grows stronger, right?
That's, I would say, a myth.
Oh, it is a myth?
Yeah.
Interesting, because I always thought that like the bone, basically it's like like muscle, like scar tissue. It gets stronger because
your bone is solid before you broke it.
Yeah,
and it's just growing back with more bone.
So that's why you'd put, like, for example, I have a plate in my ankle.
Yeah.
So you're going to put that plate in there because it's not coming back. It's strong.
Well, the plate is there to hold the pieces that might move. Mm-hmm. So you put the plate on to prevent things from moving.
Sure.
And because it's like putting a cast, it's like an internal cast. You put a plate on to prevent motion. And if you prevent motion, then the bones are easier to grow together.
But why is it that a bone will grow back together, but like a labrum won't?
There's tension on that labrum, and the labrum doesn't have as good a blood supply as the bone. The bone's got a ton of blood, bone marrow in it. When it bleeds, it creates blood, and that blood then has calcium that deposits in the blood, and that's how a bone grows back together. But a labrum doesn't have a great blood supply. Sometimes they heal back together, but as we get older, we don't heal as well as when we're younger.
Is that because of a lack of growth hormone, or?
Is that because of lack of growth hormone? Well, I think growth hormone, can certainly help tissues.
I knew I should start juicing. I knew it.
Oh my God. That's it. Dr. Rockett said.
How do you feel about PRP and stem cells and all that stuff?
It's funny. I just read an article on the Journal of Arthroscopy, an orthopedic journal, looking at. They did a meta-analysis looking at all the articles on stem cells, and said it's incumbent on the surgeon to be able to say how this works and what is working, and to tell your patients. And so there are good studies on PRP that talk about an anti-inflammatory property. That is, you take the blood, spin it down, and you inject, and that it can create an anti-inflammatory property. So for tendonitis or arthritis, it's had some good studies, double-blind, randomized control studies that have shown that it can be better than cortisone. And then they did this recent article, meta-analysis, looking at stem cells, and it did not pan out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so there are people out there who are saying that stem cells can grow cartilage in the human body, and we don't have the data for that.
So I had a doctor on once that was a stem cell guy, came on the show and we talked to him. Yeah. Before I had him on, I called to every doctor friend I have. And I said, what's your thing? And they went, I haven't seen anything yet that'll prove to me that it works. And every single guy said that. He goes, someday, maybe, haven't seen it yet. Yeah. And, everybody's always looking for that panacea.
It's true.
But
it's true.
But the PRP, I'd be interested to. I've got tendonitis in both elbows.
Yeah, there are some great studies on PRP with tendonitis that up to a year 1 year follow-up studies saying that people improve better than cortisone with it.
Yeah, and cortisone's just you're basically putting off the
cortisone's an anti-inflammatory. So tendinopathy is where you have micro tears in the tendon, and that's what hurts. Yeah. That's why it's your body's way of telling you you've done too much. Yeah, and so it's it's an amazing thing because you have a tear, you have pain, you need to stop. People can't stop because of work, or they won't stop because of exercise.
Because they're CrossFitters and they haven't exercised in
going,
addiction.
And that's what their problem. They keep going, and they need to. They need to
PR.
I always say modify. You need to modify. I'd never use the 4-letter R word of rest. If I say that in the exam room, tears come out and people start crying. But modify your activity to the point where there's no pain. If you can modify your activity to the point where there's no pain, it'll heal.
Right.
And that's all you need.
Right.
But people, because it's such a small thing and it starts off small, but it snowballs quickly. If somebody comes to me at 6 months with a tendonitis, that's bad. If they come at 6 days, that's good.
I wish I'd talked to you. I had no idea of that.
Right, because it starts off so minor, so small, so minuscule. People are like, oh, this is nothing.
And I think that's something people listening to this show need to know is that the tendonitis, what does it do? Besides tearing, basically what I'm getting to, my understanding is that I just had so much inflammation in there. What happened to me?
Yeah, so you get scar. You get chronic scar.
Yeah.
Your body in the first 6 weeks or 8 weeks will heal that, no problem. It'll heal that if you let it. If you say at 6 months, 8 months, and you're barely making it through a 5-mile run because your Achilles is blown up, that's a chronic tendonitis. That can take sometimes like a year of modifying to get better.
Right. So, but what I think happened in my situation that I'm trying to warn people from letting it happen to them is, a lot of people get the elbow tendonitis from gripping too much, and the muscular. You've got your flexors are too strong, and your extensors not strong enough.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, tendinopathy is always doing something either too much, too fast, too soon. It's always an excess. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just age too.
Right.
As we age, our tendons. We can train tendons to get stronger. Mm-hmm. So that's the good news. The problem is if we overtrain them and do too much, you go to CrossFit 7 days a week and you don't take rest days, your tendons will tear. Yep. And initially it's a microscopic tear. It can become a macroscopic tear.
And you say, as it's tearing, it's scarring. I don't know how
it's trying to heal.
I don't know how this happened, but I ended up, because of the tightness, I had a lot of inflammation in there from tendonitis or tendinopathy. Yep. And I'll show you the X-ray afterwards. my tricep pulled my olecranon.
You got a traction spur.
Yep.
A piece of bone pulled off.
Pulled right off. And then when it reattached with tissue in between.
It's fibrous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that hurt like hell to lean on your elbow.
Yep.
Yeah. You get this like jolt of pain.
Yeah. The doctor was like, hey, I got good news and bad news. He's like, the bad news is it's broken. The good news is it's your funny bone. So you've got a good joke. And I was like, oh, you're a fucking asshole. So
that'll be a $25 copay.
But do you guys, you're involved in the CrossFit world. Yep. And I imagine, because of that, do you have CrossFitters, like big name CrossFitters, seeking you out with problems?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So is that like, do you work with anyone, you're up here in New England, do you work with anyone at the Patriots or any of the teams up here?
Some of the guys will come in for visits. Yeah.
And is that, because that's how I grew up in Pittsburgh, and it was like, oh, you want to go to this guy? He's the Steeler doctor. You want to go to this guy? He's the Penguin doctor. And it's always like, well, they're the best in the world, so they're going to get the best in the world. So has that been good for you that these like top CrossFitters are coming to you? It's like, oh, these guys.
Has it been good for me? Yeah. I mean, I love it. I love CrossFitters, and I love to be able to sort of talk to them on a real level, as opposed to giving them the evil eye and saying, why are you lifting something over your head? Why are you squatting below 90 degrees? That's stupid. So that's always just been, ever since I met, Rhonda and Ben and Heather and just saying like, this is like a niche. I could be like a CrossFit doctor. Yeah. And feel like good about treating people. And half of it is talking them off the ledge. Like, listen, I know you love to do this, but this is what you got to do to get it better, and then you can get back to it.
But I would also imagine you would have so much more insight to
so the visits are quicker, because if somebody shows me a snatch, or I can tell them, so whereas other people, other docs, I've seen other docs say a deadlift, and they do a snatch maneuver over their head, and they're talking about a deadlift, so they don't know what's. That's
what I'm thinking, and it's so nice in so many areas of my life. I wish my doctor had more experience with nutrition, with exercise, so when I go to them and I explain something to them, they go, oh yeah, well that's because you're doing this too much and you're doing that too much. And it's almost like there's been this weird world of like, I've created this wellness kind of program within CrossFit for me. And I'll hear other people say, oh, my doctor recommended this. And I'm no one, I don't know anything about medicine. I'm like, sounds like that guy doesn't know shit. And there aren't enough doctors that do. This guy that just texted me that we were laughing about, making fun of the Patriots. He's a fucking kidney specialist. And every day he goes and eats McDonald's for lunch. And I'm like, you piece of shit, I give him so much shit. I go, you're going to die. And he's like, I'm not going to die. He's like, my genetics are perfect. And I'm like, you'll see. Keep eating fucking McDonald's, you fat pig. And he makes me so mad. Because then I don't trust him to ask him medical questions. And
he's not aligned with your beliefs.
And I'm, you think, but I wonder sometimes
probably.
I wonder sometimes if this is a little dogmatic. Is this
of what you're thinking?
Yes, that have we been brainwashed in CrossFit that hey, we can exercise and eat our way out of problems.
And so Rhonda had that problem. And I had that problem. I was like, I went to do my level 1 just to hear what they were talking about. I wanted to make sure they weren't like, you need to lift, this much weight every day. And they weren't. It was all about form and, perfect form with some intensity. And so I felt better as an orthopedic surgeon hearing the level 1 being like, you got to be safe. Safety is most important, but, you can go fast and do things that are appropriate. And so I felt like they weren't promoting something that I didn't think was right. I thought it was okay. And I love the workouts. And so I felt good about that. And Rhonda, was just seeing when she was getting people to do the diet and do the exercise, she was checking their labs at the same time as a medical doctor and going, oh my God, look at these labs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and people were eating eggs and bacon and their cholesterols are coming down. And she's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is against everything I've been taught. And she's like, she checked out.
Were you guys involved in that? There was a kind of a movement, I think Rob Wolf tried to put it together, which was like a paleo doctors kind of coalition.
Paleo network. Yeah. I'm on that. Okay. I think it's a web page.
Yeah. Where I live, you would think Southern California. I went, look, I would love my general practitioner or my, what's the other name for a general internist?
Internist. Yeah.
I would love for that person to be aligned with me.
Yeah.
Mine is not at all.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where I'm like, I'd rather just go get blood tests and send them off to people that I know how to analyze them.
Yeah.
Because the information she's giving me, I could get off WebMD, I feel like.
So this sort of transitions to CrossFit Health.
Yes.
And CrossFit physicians have been invited to take their L1s, their MD level 1s, they're called, where 40 physicians from around the world have come together, and they've done it every other month in California, and they're doing more. And doctors are coming together and feeling good about what they're promoting, as opposed to feeling like the outcast and the outsiders saying, diet and exercise is really the way it should be, as opposed to give somebody a pill. And so, again, along the cultish lines, it sounds, weird, but, I think it's going to change the way medicine is being prescribed.
Chris Kresser's Unconventional Medicine book.
Okay.
And, he talked a lot about, I think in America we're totally reactive. We're never proactive. Never on anything we do. We wait for bridges to fall before we fix them.
Oh, that needs to be fixed.
They clap. Oh yeah, we got to get on.
Yeah,
we should now fix all the bridges that are going to fall.
You can fix your bridge with your diet and your exercise before it falls.
And that's what he talks about, being a health professional and preventing the person from going to the doctor. And I have so many friends and family members that are horrendous. Doctor friends, like I just talked about them, that I feel like the train's already left the station. It's too late. Like,
I think there's going to be a new generation.
I'm hoping. I think millennials are a little. Generation. I think millennials are like, you guys fucked us up.
I think. I have people every day coming in and who are overweight, and it's years. It's years of overweight, and they go, I know I need to lose weight. I know I need to. Like, that's the first thing they say. I know I need to lose weight, but I need my knee fixed. And I was like, it's, we got to fix that.
But it's going to happen again.
Yeah. I mean, even if we put in a new knee replacement, something's got to change. And so that
brings me to
so it needs to happen 20 years ago. That's the problem. They come to me and I'm like, I wish I was there 20 years ago to tell you this is what is going to happen.
Yeah. You've been fucking yourself up for 20 years and now you think you can and that's the mentality. My family all has it. There's a pill for that. There's a thing for that. Yeah. And they put not that I don't, because I do. I respect how much you went to school and you've studied and you have practiced your job, but they put doctors on a pedestal all the time of,
if they're told something,
whatever the doctor says is
right.
And I go, there's a thing called second opinion for a reason. But to change the subject, you were talking about the knee replacement. Is it going to get to the point where we're all going to have them?
So put it this way, it might not, because they might genetically try to figure out a way to prevent cartilage from breaking down.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was just hearing.
So like genetic, what am I saying? Like viral mediated. Like
the study the guy was doing in China,
from preventing proteins from breaking down.
Yeah.
And that's what arthritis is. It's the breakdown of the cushion on the end of your bone. If the person who figures out a way to prevent that cushion from breaking down is going to, win the Nobel.
And things like collagen aren't going to help that?
It's better to leave it there, right, than to try to replace it.
Yeah.
So it's better if it doesn't break down in the first place.
So what would you recommend the average person out there that wants to save their knees?
Yep.
What can they do?
They've done studies on running, and there are some studies on running that's, everybody always says, oh, well, will running give me arthritis? And no. There's some of the studies that have been done on long-distance marathon runners show that they do not go to arthritis or get arthritis sooner than other people.
That's interesting.
That might be genetically, or not genetically, but that might be just selected, that somebody who's a runner doesn't have knee pain, feels great, just keeps running and running because of their genetics. Their cartilage isn't breaking down. But the people that have been running, in some of these studies have not developed arthritis. So the person who, routine Joe, doesn't want to have arthritis, keep your weight down, keep your muscles strong, and keep your flexibility.
Flexibility, which I think no CrossFitter really, I'd say 1% really work on that.
On flexibility, yes. Underrated.
It's I'm devoting my life to that.
Well, except for those 20 to 40-year-old females who are hyperextensible.
Yeah.
So you're coming at it from the 20 to 50-year-old guy point of view, you know.
Now, doing surgery, something like the knees that you do, which I've watched on YouTube and found it phenomenal. Like, I'm blown away by the fact that you basically chop off the leg and then put a...
No, we don't chop off the leg.
You chop off a bone.
We shave the end gently and we cap it. No, that's a knee replacement. Are you talking about a knee replacement?
Full knee replacement.
Full knee replacement. We don't chop off the leg.
You chop off the leg.
We leave the leg attached. That's a false... People come to me. I'm like, I'm not going to chop off your leg. They're like, oh, thank God. I thought you were going to chop off my leg and reattach it. I'm like, no, this isn't like Young Frankenstein. This is...
It's what it
we're
looked
just
like
shaving. We're shaving the end and capping it. We're putting a cap on it. And then a little plastic spacer, and then a little
hinge.
Metal, and it's metal, plastic, metal. It's a little sandwich, metal sandwich.
Metal, plastic, metal. Then what? How does it bond? Do you do the anchors?
So for a knee replacement, you can put a bone cement onto the bone, and that secures it in place.
You're just gluing it on.
Little crazy glue, little gorilla glue. But then there's like arthroscopy, which is, so that's more soft tissue-y stuff.
And what is the metal made of?
The metal is
titanium?
Cobalt chrome.
Cobalt chrome?
Cobalt chrome.
I think I had a bike made of that.
Cobalt chrome.
Now, does that attract P. acne? Something like that?
Any metal
will attract it.
Bacteria love to attach to metal.
Yeah.
So P. acne, more in the shoulder.
Yeah.
P. acne is very common.
Why does P. acne come into the shoulder? Through the armpit?
They think that's the most common, the skin up in the shoulder area. Yeah.
Just it's dirty and that's where it's hanging out?
That's where moisture and bacteria and...
Have they done anything to...
try to prevent it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like swabbing and testing people ahead of time. And we check people for... when we put in a hip or a knee for MRSA or staph.
Oh, you do?
And we treat them ahead of time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And
that's my greatest fear.
That's decreased infections.
That's great. Yeah. I think that's a lot of people's fear is that...
You have staph on your skin. And,
yeah, it's everywhere, right?
A lot of people just have it on their skin.
But when it gets inside you is when it...
That's not good.
Right. Yeah. How often does that occur? What percentage of the time?
If you were looking nationwide at total joint, say a total knee nationwide, it's probably, I think it's about 2%.
Wow, that's kind of scary.
2% is not the percent that you want to be.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That is really a scary number.
Yeah.
And is it getting worse or getting better?
I think it's getting better with the testing we're doing. We're figuring out, that the MRSA and staph, testing people ahead of time, swabbing them for it to see if they have it.
Has it always been around like this, or is this a new thing? Because I never heard of it as a kid, but I think a lot of times people are like, he just died. We don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's better than when I was a resident, 20 years ago. We used to see. I used to see it all the time, and I think it's much less frequent.
Oh, good, because it's. I had a neighbor one time right across the street from me. I had just an ambulance outside in the middle of the night, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he's an old guy, but he's really healthy. Rides his bike 10 miles a day up this mountain. He's just a stud. Yeah, and he swims every day, and he smokes weed all the time. He's just like this, just total, like no stress, no. And I'm like, wow, he had a heart attack. I'm just, middle of the night. I'm like, heart attack. So I went over and I'm friends with his kids and everything. What's going on? And they were like, oh, Dad, blah, 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 blah. And they said they're rushed in the hospital. He was like, kind of wasn't breathing, wasn't that. He cut his leg and got a staph infection.
Wow.
In his leg. And it just, traveled up and started,
septic.
Septic. Yeah.
Wow.
And, you hear that and you're like, so this can happen anywhere, anytime, it's terrifying. That's like thinking about meteors hitting the earth.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Try not to dwell. You try not to dwell at 2 a.m. in the morning when you wake up.
Yeah, that'll keep me up tonight. Yeah, knowing your 2% statistic you just gave me just ruined my. I don't know why I asked that question.
The lights of Boston streaming in your eye.
You're gonna see me with a broken leg walking down the street. What's he doing? I'm not getting surgery. There's no fucking way. 2%. 2%. I have a metal plate in here. I did this one. I didn't do when they said
the little chip on the elbow.
Can you see it?
Oh,
can you see it?
Look at it. It looks like a Jimmy Durante nose or something. The little tip of the elbow. You could like open doors with that thing, like Steven Seagal coming right through the door.
The doctor in New York that I went to.
Look at that.
I had it for like 6 weeks before I went to the doctor, and when I finally went in, I got an MRI. He calls me back that night and he goes, "Well, you're not a pussy." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes,
"Good news is,"
he goes, "You broke the shit out of your elbow," and he goes, "You've been walking around with a broken elbow for 6 weeks." And so
you're like, yeah.
And I was like, "Well, how do you fix it?" And he's like, "You just put it in a sling for like a couple weeks and you'll be fine." I was like, "That's it? That's all I had to do?" Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. So, I'm glad that when you agreed to do the show, I was like, why are you going to do my show? It's let me see what time it is right now. It's 11:25. And do you have patience tomorrow morning?
Yes, I do.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this devotion to CrossFit and health and
don't tell my patients tomorrow. No.
Comedy shows. He comes out and parties. How many drinks did he had? Like I saw him. He's in the audience.
The waitresses were
throwing it back. No. You did have the good line.
Oh, thank you.
There's so many millions more questions I have for you, but I don't want to take up all your time because you are a medical doctor. Look, he wears a pager.
I got a pager, yeah.
Who still has a pager? You have a
Navy
cell phone.
SEALs. Navy SEALs have pagers. That's what I've been told.
They do.
That's what I've been told because of the satellite.
They do.
This doesn't work in a movie theater sometimes or in the gym. Gym or the movie theater. Sometimes my cell phone doesn't go off.
My cousin,
don't they? I've been told that this.
I have a cousin who's a Navy SEAL. I've talked about him.
And he has a pager.
He had a pager, but this was years ago before cell phone. He had a pager. And I was asking him 1,000. This is before I did a podcast. I'm berating him with questions, like pelting him. He is so annoyed by me. And all of a sudden, his pager goes off, and he goes,
"Gotta go.
I gotta go." And I go, "Where are you going?" And he goes,
"I gotta go get milk."
He goes, "I can't tell you." And I go, "Why not?" He goes, "I'll tell you this. I'm headed to Norfolk, Virginia right now, Little Creek, where he's stationed." And he goes, "And then I'm off on a mission, and can't tell you. It's all classified."
Did they text what the mission is?
So he went, and he just left. And I saw his mom like months later at a family like christening or something.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, that night Bobby got the page and he left and he went. Where'd he go?" She's like, "I'm pretty sure he went to a bar to meet his friends."
If you don't want to be in a certain situation, you can set it ahead of time, Oh, gotta go. It's on vibrate. It's on vibrate. Oh, gotta go.
I do that with my phone without anything happening. I look at I just look at my phone and go, "Oh my God, I gotta go." I do that all the time.
Oh, that's good.
But so, CrossFit Health, you're involved in it. Are you like in in Glassman's camp now with this whole movement where he's going,
he's
games this way, and you're in the health?
Well, I'm in the medical team for the games, so
that's got to be fun.
Yeah, I love doing it.
Has anybody gotten really injured at the games? Oh, you had all the pec tears.
We had, I mean, obviously I can't say anything other than what's been posted, but a lot of their athletes will post, and some tendons have torn, and
nothing. I'm trying to think if anyone had anything awful.
Vellner had a fun one. He posted what happened to him and falling off the obstacle course.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, that was hilarious. Fraser fell too.
Both of them fell. Yeah, there were some good memes on that one.
I thought they were both dead.
Yeah, so did we.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah. But again, it's a sport, and you can't You can't pussify it. You can't say, oh, we should put cushions down at the bottom, or we should not have them climb down. Like, you got to still do that. And if
I think, so as a sports med doc, I think we look at things and can see, like, what can we do better and what is egregious, or what is safer without taking away some of the rawness or the fun or the exercise. And there's been a ton of, modifications to it that have been helpful, some of the, having the mats underneath the rope climbs, used to be on a cement floor.
That still should be. 15, come on.
15 feet down.
Don't turn these guys into pussies. Yeah, the rope climbs need, and also the ropes need to be like, I one time came down on a rope that the rope hit the bottom, and then the rope came up. It was just like lying. There was too much length through it. There was slack to it. So when I came down,
landed on it.
Ankle went out. And I was like, it hurt so bad. And it was the ankle that I have a metal plate into. And I was like, that hurts so bad. Yeah. And I put on...
we have Hello Kitty bandages for that. Some of the guys, we do have Hello Kitty bandages at the games, and some of the guys would come by and put them on. That's good.
I threw on my Myopucks and just let it pump the blood in and out. Are you a believer in the anti-icing, Gary Reynolds?
Anti-icing, people love it for pain from a post-surgical point of view. It helps with pain. It does numb up things.
So does Oxy.
It numbs up a lot. So I don't want to. If you can take a bag of ice instead of some oxycodone, I think that's beneficial. But as far as does it help your swelling go away? No, I don't think it. I think compression does, and I think some of these TENS unit devices, help.
Yeah,
and compression elevation.
I heard a
lot of people are into anti-inflammatories. There's popping anti-inflammatories, and I don't agree.
I'm not a fan of those. I hurt my knee a little bit ago. In Arizona, I was hiking a mountain. I was climbing down. This guy was annoying me, so I ran to get away from him and fell running to get away from him. Mm-hmm. And he's this guy that hikes the mountain and gives everyone water. Like, he tries to do a nice thing, but I'm just I'm trying to be out in the woods by myself, and this guy's like, hey, I'm Ronnie the water guy. Does anybody need water? I got water for everybody. And I was like, and he goes, what do you need? And I was like, some peace and quiet. And then he was just, as I was going down the trail, Camelback Mountain, and everybody does it. And he's right behind me. And I was finally, get this guy away from me. So I started running down these boulders. And the next thing I know, I'm like, wow. So it started to swell up and move. And all I did was just do kind of the
gentle motion.
Just kept moving it to try to avoid the swelling. And I felt like, for the first time in my life, I actually did the right thing. Yeah. And I limited the amount of pain. For a second, I thought I broke the patella, which has got to be a horrible.
Oh yeah, that's not fun.
Horrible.
That's not fun.
What do you do when that happens?
I had a guy come in today, actually. He 2 years ago tore his patella tendon, had a surgery, and he's fine. And
where's the patella tendon?
Patella tendon is right below the kneecap.
Yeah, that's the one.
So if that's gone, your whole leg you can't lift.
But that's the one that always gets tendonitis on people.
That's runner's knee.
Yeah.
But if you tear it, that's you can't walk. You have to reattach that. And if you go to my website 321gomd.com, you can see how the patella tendon gets reattached.
He chops your leg off.
I don't chop the leg. So he had that, knew exactly what it was all about, had it fixed. He does the same thing to his right knee 2 years later. He is on the ground. Where was he? He was on the ground in the store, and the EMTs come in. He's like, I tore my patella tendon. He goes, they're like, yeah, buddy. we're the professionals here. He gets into the emergency room. The nurse is there. The doctor, he's like, I tore my patella tendon. They're like, slow down, dude. Slow down, Marcus Welby, MD. And they come back, they're like, yeah, you did. He knew exactly. He's like, I can feel the divot. My kneecap's up here.
Yeah, I knew when I broke my ankle, everybody's like, oh, you just sprained it. And I go, no, I heard the pop. Yeah. And I have a video of it. You can hear the pop. So I was like, that's sprains don't pop.
They do.
Really?
Sprains pop.
So that
Sprains
could have
pop.
been. People love when
The
I'm wrong on the show.
ACL pops 70% of the time when it's torn. So if a common doctor question is, did you hear a pop? And in the knee, if you felt or heard a pop, it's about 70% an ACL tear.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm always surprised. Like people say, I felt a crack, and I'll get the X-ray, and I'm like, and it's no break.
Yeah. But do you do hips at all too?
I do hip replacements. Yes.
Doesn't seem like you like those though. You talk all about shoulders and knees.
Shoulders
you just
and knees.
don't give a
I
shit
didn't even
about
go to the hips.
How come?
I like hips, but it's a fun surgery, and it's a good surgery, but it's a lot of work. It
seems like it.
You got to get,
chisels and bones.
You're like, leaning and
cutting
moving, and it's
your carpentry work.
It's some work, but I do a lot of hip replacements too, and people do well, but I like, knees and shoulders are my thing, but I do
the hip, or not the hip, shoulder, or what am I thinking? The hip replacement, is that just normal wear and tear, or is that
arthritis? Same thing. Some people get arthritis at a young.
What about
age.
from doing the Outlaw workouts? Have you ever seen Outlaw? Do you remember Outlaw?
The Outlaw, the
Outlaw programming,
way?
the Outlaw way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started doing Outlaw in my hips. I'd never had hip pain in my life, and all of a sudden I'm like, the fuck is wrong with my hips? And I just, why was I doing Outlaw? Everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm just working out 3 times a day. And they're like,
3 times?
No, I forget what I was doing, like twice a day.
And you were limping.
And
the apocalypse came, and you couldn't run away from the zombies.
I thought I had ruined my hips because I'd never had hip pain. And all of a sudden, my hips were just so painful.
Probably a hip tendonitis.
Yeah, so I just
overdid it.
Yeah,
too
so
much,
I just
too soon,
quit
too
doing
fast.
it, and it all went away.
The body is a beautiful thing if you let it.
Yeah,
if you let your body do the things it's supposed to do.
Yeah, Kelly Stratton said something once to me that was really funny. He goes, "The human body is really difficult to kill." He said, like, your body's going to fight back and do things to prevent
you from being an idiot.
It's like, but it'll adapt. Like, do you ever see these guys that are like, they'll have like a short arm and they'll be playing golf?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, how did that guy hit it down the middle with that, like,
one finger? And yeah, amazing.
See them in CrossFit too. I mean, I see the adaptive athletes.
Yeah, sure.
And they're doing shit I can't do.
They're doing one-arm snatches and one-arm deadlifts and
unbelievable. And I have trouble with like putting a kettlebell over my head with one arm. How are you at CrossFit?
Yeah, I'm usually in like 15% of my age group.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm happy.
You have no intentions on trying to be
not at all.
a stud.
No
compete.
Can't.
Do you do the open?
Yeah,
you do.
Well, yeah, that's where the 15% comes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you have the scores.
But now everybody's
got
to look like this year. I'm probably going to be at 20%.
Why did you just no? Where are you higher in the age group now?
I'm 51.
No, you're low in the age. Isn't it 51 to 55?
50 to 54.
54.
50 to 54.
Yeah, so you'll probably still do well. Yeah. It's when you get up. It's so funny.
Right.
You watch guys.
You never see people want to be older.
When they get to the older part of the age group,
they're thrilled.
Their numbers start going down.
Oh, that. Yeah. But people's birthdays, they're so excited to get old.
Yeah.
I've never seen people want to get old so badly to get into the next age group.
Yeah.
I'm 65.
I want a pill that's going to take me back to 20.
Yes.
I've perfect age. I always say 15.
15.
No responsibility.
None.
Still couldn't drive a car.
That's good.
Couldn't get in any trouble.
All right.
I mean, it sucked because I'd have to ask a kid who could drive me around, but I think 15 is the best age.
That's good. I like college. College was good.
Really? Harvard?
It was fun.
You weren't just busting your ass every day?
Well, we had some friends.
I have this idea that at Harvard, you guys, it's obviously the smartest people in the world, all in one place. And then a bunch of rich kids whose dads got them.
Oh, Jesus.
There are a bunch of legacies, though, but they have to be pretty smart, too, right?
They do have to be smart.
They're like, when you say pretty smart, like, how smart? They're still straight A students, aren't they?
Well, not everybody's getting A's at Harvard, you know.
No, but I'm saying like to get into Harvard,
to get
if
in?
you're a legacy, you still pretty much have to
gotta
be a
be
straight A
smart.
student, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And then where'd you go to medical school?
Tufts, so local.
Oh, okay.
Local around here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. And now you're going to fix all of CrossFit.
No,
Come on.
no.
Come on.
One. I'd rather fix the diet and exercise attitude in the medical world right now.
That'd be great. And look, I joke about a lot of shit and I'm very cynical, but that's one thing I do believe in too.
Yeah,
I would love to see
Doctors say, "Oh, you need to diet and exercise," but like that's all they say. Like they don't really mean it. Like you just say, "Oh, you got to diet." Like, what do you mean? Tell me exactly what I should do.
Well, I want to get to the point where I'm not annoying anymore. And that's going to be hard. But I'm that annoying guy that's telling people, you need to change your diet. You need to start exercising. And I want it to be that I don't have to tell people that they just know.
Realize it. Go to the CrossFit Health website. There are these articles out there about cholesterol and fructose and glucose, and it's amazing. And it's, and I've been to lectures with these, great scientists, and they're looking at this old thing about how fat was bad and how they thought fat raised cholesterol, and we're thinking now it's maybe the sugar is the issue. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm an idiot, but I believe that, and I hope I'm right. And
right, we hope we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for doing the show. Where 321?
It's called 321gomd.com, and it's just open to everybody, and you can go up there.
Are they going to have some kind of seminar that you guys are? There is the one now that medical doctors can go to, correct?
So that's the level 1 seminars.
Okay,
and then
they just let any doctor that wants to take it.
Well, there's a big waiting list now.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. There's I think there's I want to say a 600 person doctor wait list for it.
Is there a way I can kidnap my doctor and make her go to it?
Hey,
if she ever listens to this podcast, I'm fucking dead. She's going to be so mean during the cough and the grab and cough. Oh my God, I'm dead. I'm dead.
My fingers got bigger.
I'm dead. She always tells me.
Sausage digits. Where'd you get the sausage digits?
When I go in, when I get the physical, she always goes, I don't think you need that. And I go, I was hoping
you feel
for
shortchanged?
Yeah.
You feel like
yeah, she won't do it. I have a feeling she just looked at me and was like, not him. I get rejected from the prostate exam. Do you have any surgeries tomorrow?
No surgeries. No, just patients.
Do you have like 1 day a week you do surgery?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days a week.
And is it like a conveyor belt? They're just coming down the line?
No, it's not a conveyor.
How many do you do in 1 day?
Probably six in a day.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's got to be really stressful though.
No, that's what we train for.
I guess that's
stressful.
Yeah,
it's not stressful. That's what you're trained for. You train to. That's the fun part. I don't want to say fun. It's not fun.
Last question,
not
guys.
fun.
I feel like I'm hurting the world right now by taking you away from people that need you. When you say it's not stressful, you're going in like. I've always wondered, like, you were very intelligent. You went to Harvard, you went to Tufts, you got your medical degree. What if you weren't good with your hands? That
would come out. That would come out.
It would come out in residency.
Yeah.
And then you would just be pushed into another field.
You would get either more training or, if you needed to go to another field. Yeah.
Because is it possible that there are orthopedic surgeons that are really knowledgeable,
sure,
but aren't good surgeons, and then vice versa?
Well, that's residency is how you train, and it takes thousands of hours.
I think that's the politically correct answer.
I'm giving you a politically correct answer. But
I will tell you about shitty comedians. If you want to know who's shitty, I will tell you off air. I'm sure you could tell me there's some doctors that are not good with their hands.
It's incumbent upon the residency training faculty to make them a good doctor.
Yeah.
And that's a tough question.
But when everybody, the old Seinfeld joke about go to my doctor, he's the best. You know that joke? Seinfeld, there was an episode where everybody's doctor is the best. Yeah. Who are you to judge your doctor? How do you know who the best is? Everybody's always like, my doctor's the best. You should go see him. He's the best.
Right.
Like I said earlier, mine's always, oh, you got to go to this guy. He's the Pirates doctor. You got to go to this guy. He's the Penguins doctor. The guy who did my elbow, first guy I went to was the Mets doctor. And the second guy I went back, I was the Dodgers guy. And I was like, they're like, oh, they do elbows. They're baseball. That's what they deal with. And they told me two completely different things. One said surgery and one said...
That's why it's called a second opinion. That's right. But, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
Thanks for coming to my show.
No problem.
You're going to be working out at where? You're going to be at the house or...
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Probably an afternoon workout.
Nice.
We got an early morning day, so probably an afternoon workout, maybe at Launchpad. See what she has in store.
Well, I'm so glad you made it out.
Yeah, it was fun.
Check out the website, or do you on Instagram or anything like that? Do you do any of that?
321 Go MD. Yeah.
321 Go MD. Yeah. And again, thank you. This has been awesome,
Thanks,
Dr. Sean Rockett. That's 2 T's. And check out what CrossFit's doing. If you're a doctor and you listen to this, which I highly doubt, but if you do, get involved with that.
There's a CrossFit Physicians Facebook site.
That's great. That makes me so happy. Thank you.
Cool, bud.